Okay, well it's Friday afternoon now. I got home from TAFE a bit early, so going to do the patrol now. So the plan of attack today, wiring, that's going to be the main goal of today. So I've got all of the old wires for the lights up here. The winch itself just goes onto the positive and negative of the battery, since it's got its own plug that goes in the back, like a little hand controller that you plug in when you need to. But all of this wiring mess I'm going to sort out today, and hopefully, probably today and a bit of tomorrow. So the plan with this is completely just redo it, because now that there's no ETI pump on it and it's the fully mechanical GQ one, I can get rid of all of the wiring harness that used to run to the ETI pump. So I think that's the one down here. Which one is it? Yeah, that's the mess there. So it's this mess here. So that can pretty much all go. The only sensors, or the only wires that I'll need to keep are the glow rail, all the wires that run to the transmission and transfer case. So I think there's a clutch switch in this car, or it seemed like before you have the idle up button in the cabin there, and that would only really work if it was in neutral. So I think there's a neutral switch in the gearbox, as well as the four-wheel drive transfer case stuff. There's like a selector switch in that as well. But I'll plug them in, maybe redo them. And also I'm going to wrap them all in electrical tape once I'm done, just to make sure no water could get in if I want to go off-road. And with all the stuff up the front here, I think I'll just run it in some conduit tubing. I had some here, yeah, just up here. Yeah, just to make everything look a lot nicer, because it does work, and I could probably get it back together and get it running, but I might as well address this now just while it's here, just so it's less painful down the track, I think. So I've cleaned up my airbox. It appeared to have been sucking in quite a lot of dirt. I cut the guts out of the MAF sensor because I'm not going to need it now. So if anyone's looking for a Patrol MAF sensor, I just destroyed another one, so sorry about that. Okay, so I've got the intake side sorted, or for the pre-turbo at least. So I'm going to run with the stock parts for now. Down the track, if I do a 4-inch snorkel, which I might do for some welding practice, I'll probably change it around and go on a ZD30 airbox, because these RD ones have a pretty bad flow sort of bottleneck in there. But as far as the wiring goes, the way that old mate had run it before is he had one of these dodgy crimp connectors on the 12-volt supply for the wiper motor, and that's what was going to the performance module, the rapid one on the injector pump. So what I think I'm going to do, because that's dodgy, and if it moves like that, it's clearly breaking contact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a relay in here, and I'm going to have the 12-volt trigger the relay to then create a circuit between the 12-volt positive and then the fan relay and then the injector pump shut-off solenoid. Because this one comes on as soon as you hit the immobilizer, it's just going to make it easier, and maybe, a bit more difficult for someone to get in, pop the bonnet and then cross the wires on, But so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just tee into this one, make sure it's a nice solid soldered connection, and then probably mount this relay somewhere, probably down in there. But yeah, that's the plan for this one, and I'll get back to you once it's all sorted, because I'm going to try and give it a start today, get it up to temperature, and hopefully it doesn't blow too much smoke or do anything stupid. Okay, so it's Saturday now. I worked a bit on the patrol last night. So my idea and what I decided to do with getting power to the shut-off solenoid and then the trigger for my fans to come on. So I've hooked up this relay. So the way that's going to work is, as soon as power comes to this one, it's going to click the solenoid open and run 12-volt power straight from the battery out to the shut-off solenoid, and then the trigger for the fans to come on. And also, what I'm going to be able to do then is, like, if I'm ever going to leave the car for a while, I'll just unplug the solenoid, because it just unplugs straight here. As another means of measure of hopefully not getting my car stolen. But anyway, what I'm going to do before anything is, because it's the day now and people won't mind, I think what I'll do is try and start it again, and this time let it get a good bit of heat into it, top off the radiator, open up the heater core, and make sure that the engine's bled fully of all coolant and that there's no oil leaks. So that, I think, is what I'm going to do now. I may even chase a problem, because I'm not getting the glow plug light to come on, which means the glow plugs aren't going to go, but I'll fool around and see what I can do. I wouldn't think that it would be too hard to start. Okay, so I tried to crank it for a bit, but my glow plugs weren't working, so yeah, just didn't want to start up. It's a bit too cold. It's about, what's the temperature this morning? Hang on, 11 degrees. Okay, yeah, it's 11 degrees Celsius, so a little bit too cold for it to want to just get up and go. So I'm gonna charge the battery up because it was starting to get lazy, and I'm gonna sort out the glow plug system now. So first things first, with the RD28s. From what I've read just before on Google, so the reason my glow plugs weren't working was that the ECU wasn't earthing out, because it earths out with the ring connectors here on the loom on the engine head. So all you got to do is connect the earths there, and your glow plugs should work. I didn't know this, so I fooled around with mine. But if you want to put a switch in, this is how you do it. The older Laurel and the GQ RD28s have 6.5 volt glow plugs. That's worried me a bit because I'd actually jumped my whole glow plug rail with some car jumper cables when I was originally trying to start it, because I thought that the combustion chamber temperatures were way too low and it wouldn't combust. So I did that, then realized, I read on the Patrol owners RD28 whatever page on Facebook that yeah, some of them came with 6.5 volt systems. So this is the Haynes owner's manual for the 98 to 14 GUs, and the GUs in these ones only came with the ETI motor, which is an updated version with the electronic control system. And so if we look through the wiring diagrams, we've got ECM power supply, glow control circuit diagnostics, blah blah blah, RD28 ETI engine. So if we look over to this side, we've got glow plug relay, white and greens running to the whole glow plug rail, and then they're each earthing out in the head. So it goes from battery, 100 amp fuse, running to the glow plug relay, which when switched on will close this switch here and run 12 volts straight to the glow plug rail. So that leads me to believe that the glow plugs in this one are already 12 volt ones, so that's alright. And also the way it's going to earth out, it'll send 12 volts straight to the switch side, which will then run to this XB, which is I think it's light green and black, yep, which will run to this light green and black, which runs to 111 and is an earth. So it runs to the ECU pin 111, which is an earth. We've got diagram 18 back here. So ECM link 16 is up here. So ECM's link 16 is an earth as well. So that means that the glow plug lamp will get a constant 12 volt fed to it, and it'll only be earthed out by the ECU switch inside it. All the ECU does is act as a low side digital input to earth out both the glow plug relay and then the glow plug lamp as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to intercept these two wires, the blue and white wire from the glow lamp, and then a light green and black wire from the glow plug relay, and then I'll tie them together and put them through a switch button to earth them out, so that way I can jump in the car, press a button, the glow plug lamp will come on, and I'll know it'll be glowing. Okay, so the ECM sits up under here, where this is, and there's going to be this cover bolted onto this assembly, and it's going to be secured on by this single bolt here. So all you do is undo that and then pry the cover off with a little screwdriver or a knife. And now I'm going to decipher which pins are the ones I want. Hopefully the wire colours are the same as in the wiring diagram. I'd assume they are, because the one for my Hilux was pretty accurate. And then I'll de-pin them, maybe even probably just cut them, because I don't think I'll even be needing this ECU anymore. What I will do as well is go through all of the ECM pins and see what they do control. But I'm pretty under the understanding that this is mainly just for the injector pump and all of the other electronic bits on the engine itself. But I'm going to de-pin the ones I want and then decide what I want to do with them from there. The lighting's not very good, but pin 111 is in the middle of this block just here, the second square dead center, and then pin 16 is next to this single one here, just where the tip of my finger is there. So if we look at the harness here, so you see on the end closest to my thumb, there's a gap and then the end 3 pins right to the end there. So that looks like the drawing here, where there's those end 3 pins on the ends, isolated by themselves. So we know that we're looking at this side down here, and you can see 2 blocks of square ones by themselves. So it's going to be this end here. So we'll look to the middle one. So down in the middle there is this one just here under my fingernail. So it's got a black line running up it, and it looks like it is yellowish in colour. So that is pin 111. So we'll look down the glow plug relay. We see an X and a B, which means light green and black. So if we look again, that looks like light green and black. So that's our trigger for the glow plug solenoid. And then just further forward, where number 16 is, if I move these ones, there'll be a blue and a white one running just there, which runs to pin 16. Okay, so I've done a wire tuck on it. It's looking nice and much more clean than it was before. There's still a bit of raggedy stuff going on over here. Don't mind that, that's the old loom that I will clean up. But for now, I think I'm going to just wait until my battery's charged so I can make sure everything runs all fine. As well as that, now I can decide what to do with the old loom. I think I am going to get rid of the ECU entirely, or bypass it at least. And that's going to mean that all of this is going to be useless. There may be 1 or 2 12 volts I can use, like the fuel shut-off solenoid has a 12 volt running through here, but that's only if the ECU is plugged in with 12 volt itself. So I think I'm just going to get rid of the entire loom just to make space in the engine bay, and then use the hole where it runs through the firewall as a way of getting wires and stuff to run through, because there's no real access points on the left side that aren't annoying to get to. Okay, so I've plugged in the wiring loom into the gearbox and the transfer case for all the clutch switches and that, and I've also made up a new throttle. It might be a bit difficult to see with this in the way, but I've made up a new throttle cable holder. You can see I've extended the old one. I've welded on and extended it a bit, and now I'm using these rings I've made with notches cut in them to slide onto the ring, or to slide onto the throttle cable, and then slide them up so that I'll be able to tighten it up. And then the throttle cable should work from the cabin, so I'm going to do that and make sure it works now. Well, I've hooked both the dash light for the glow plugs and the glow plug switch to this button here, so I'll be able to push that and hold it for 3 seconds each time I want to get it started. So I am going to see if I can get it started. My battery charge is still only saying 3 bars, so it should be all the way up to maintain, and it's taken like 5 hours right now and it hasn't moved, so I'm just going to rip it off and see if there's any juice in it to get it started. Hopefully, because it's a bit warmer now, the engine will be more happy to start on me. Well, it's working. See what happens. So she's running, she's got good oil temperature, sorry, oil pressure. She's getting a bit of heat into her now. She's up at operating temperature, everything's looking sweet. Everything's looking good. So I managed to get the glow plugs working. Something's going on though, the light stays on the dash even when the accessories aren't on. So I'll have to work that out, but when you turn accessories on, the light goes off, and then when you press the push button, the glow plug light on the dash comes on and you hear the solenoid click in the engine bay. And everything else appears to be good, so yeah, it started up alright. It was a bit weird, I need to look into that. And yeah, it's running, so I think tomorrow, or even now, probably tomorrow, I've been working all day, I'll throw all of the intercooler and all of that good stuff on and get it to a stage where I can start driving it around and tuning with it. But yeah, everything is awesome. I'm very happy.